Immigration attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Now, put your questions in the comments now, and I will answer. I do want to talk to you about the true and false facts going on about the getting the work permit. I spoke to someone this morning who had a number of questions about whether it's true that they can get the work permit this way or that way. And there's a lot with everything going on with the changes in laws that states are now enforcing or implementing. It's a very frightening time for a lot of people, and as a result of that, a lot of people are seeking assistance, which definitely that's the right thing to do. But make sure you seek assistance from an attorney. The attorney is going to be the best person who's going to give you the information that's reliable, and the information where you'll be able to seek legal ways to get the green card or to get the work permit. And so I spoke to someone this morning that was saying, I am just really uh, just surprised that people would be this cruel, that they would scam immigrants into getting their money. Um, so they would scam immigrants into getting their money and uh, and and put them through a false method of getting their green card. Please let me know on Instagram. Can you hear me? Because I just had an interruption. So let me know if you can hear me. One person just type if you can hear me. Um, I know you can hear me on. Okay, no sound. All right, let me come out. And I'm just fixing this technical glitch here. Hang tight for me. All right. So I'm just fixing a technical glitch here. So I'll get right back on track very soon. Thank you so much for the love. All right. So this morning, someone brought up to me that there is somebody out there that's saying that they are a third party affiliate of the USCIS, and they have the authority to decide whether somebody qualifies for status, so they can do an interview. They take a fee. They can do a special interview, and if you pass the interview, they can go ahead and send this these additional signed documents to the USCIS, and the USCIS will then approve a work permit. This is a scam. Okay, there's nobody who is able to authorize you to qualify for anything, right? Hi on Instagram, thanks so much. So I'm having a little technical glitch and I'm working to resolve it on Instagram, so bear with me. I'm hoping I don't have any interruptions, but just bear with me. um, what I was saying here on YouTube and I was saying on TikTok is there are scammers out there, and I'm going to give you an example just in case you've heard it. So there's a scammer out there, at least one, pretty sure many, that are saying they're USCIS affiliated and they can do an interview. And if you pass the interview with them after, of course, you pay them a fee. The fee's like around 2,000. If you pass this interview, then they get to sign off on a statement and send it to the USCIS to process you for the work permit. Is this valid? Absolutely not. The USCIS will not have any third parties interviewing you to see if you qualify for immigration benefits. So do not fall for that. Now, I've heard of some others over the times that I've been doing appointments, and people have been either, unfortunately duped into a scam, or they're asking me if this is true. And some of these would be if you have an ITIN number that you can then apply for your green card because now you have an ITIN number. No, you cannot just get your green card off of having an ITIN number. Same with social security number. You cannot get your green card just because you've had a social security number in the past. So I heard one person tell me that if their social security number started with a certain number, and that meant that the person was telling them that meant they qualified for the green card, and offered them a service of paying this additional money to do an adjustment of status because they had a special type of social security number. False. Okay. And if you want to put some of the things you've heard to verify whether it's true, put it in the comments now. So that I can answer your questions, or answer whether it's true or false. And on Instagram, if we have any more technical difficulties, feel free to find me on YouTube. The name of the channel is Getting the Green Card. And then on TikTok, I'm Immigration Lawyer Sharifa. So you can find me on TikTok just in case you want to stay there and not have any interruptions, just in case we get disconnected on Instagram again. Now, the other one that I've heard of is if you extend your stay, you can get the green card that way. So you extend your stay and then you apply for adjustment of status. False. If you've been here for 10 years, even though you're on you're without your papers, but you've been here for 10 years, you've paid your taxes, now you get your green card. Um, I would say that is true. That can be true, can be false. Now, if you're going through a removal and you can show that you're a person of good moral character, you've been here for 10 years, and paying your taxes could be one of the things that shows that you have good moral character. Then you could possibly qualify if you meet the other requirements. It's called cancellation of removal. But you can't just be sitting here and saying, oh my gosh, it's been 10 years since I've been here. I've been paying my taxes for that time. It's time to apply for the green card. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. So don't let anybody tell you you can get the green card that way. Another is just apply for asylum. I've heard of people that are giving out lists of stories that you can make up and then apply for your asylum. Don't fall for that. It is not a slap on the wrist to apply for asylum and give a false story or frivolously apply for asylum. You really do have to have a fear. Now, the consequence is if they find that you've told a lie, your story is false, or you frivolously submitted, meaning you just on a whim applied for asylum, even though you didn't really qualify for asylum, is that you could be permanently barred from getting anything, from getting your green card. So you don't want that, right? The other is, do you have a citizen sibling? Do you have a citizen parent? You may have already overstayed. And the next thing is, yeah, I have that. Well, you can get your green card while staying in the US. Now, it can be true, but you have to meet very specific criteria to be able to stay here and apply. If you're over 21 and you're out of status, it will not work, right? If you're over 21 and you're out of status, you have a long way to go with your parent, or your parent or your sibling, right? The sibling is 14 years, parents, if you're over 21, is 7 years. And then even then, you're not going to be allowed to stay here and apply for the green card unless you qualify under Section 245I. That's a whole other life. But this is where it's very important to make sure you schedule an appointment and talk to an attorney, because the attorney is going to tell you the right, an ethical, qualified attorney is going to tell you the right thing. They're not going, under the law, under our professional obligations, we cannot tell you lies. We can't mislead you to take your money. We have to give you legal advice that's correct and accurate in order to meet our professional obligations. So it's you, it costs you more when you fall for a scammer and you pay them this money to do these scamish type of processes for you. And furthermore, when these people file papers on your behalf, guess what happens? Not only will the immigration office take the scammer as a scam, but they'll also may accuse you of being in on the whatever false information the scammer gave you. So always, if you do have a citizen, parent, or a sibling, and you're over 21, get legal advice about whether you qualify. Because I don't want to say you don't qualify, but it's not going to be as easy as applying for, saying, oh, okay, I do have a citizen parent. Let me go ahead and apply for the green card. It's usually you have to meet, for example, Section 245I, where you have previously been filed for before 2001. If you don't meet that and you're over 21, you're without your papers here, you've overstayed, you're not gonna meet that. You're not going to be able to apply for the green card. So these are some of the things I've heard. I'm pretty sure I just did a list here, but I'm pretty sure there are plenty of others. What I would say is if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true, right? Sounds easy. Get legal advice, right? If this person is not an attorney and they're telling you they can fix your status, stop. Go to an attorney. Always go to an attorney, because we are obligated to tell you the truth to the best of our knowledge. We are obligated to do that. But those people are not. What they will do is take your money and cost you a lot more in the future. So that's what I have to say. But if you want to put what you've heard into the comments, please go ahead and do that so I can verify whether what you've heard is true or false. I'm going to go ahead and answer questions now. Put your questions in the comments and I'll answer it. Okay, so approved I-130. What's next? If you're outside of the US, you're going to get an email from the National Visa Center, a welcome letter that says they're going to know, either they're going to wait for your priority date to become current, but if this is where you don't need to have a priority date, they're going to start processing your paperwork to get you scheduled for the interview. Can you file for asylum after 2 years? Now you can, but oh my gosh, it can get a lot harder to be approved for the asylum, because you have to show that the reason for the delay, why you didn't meet the deadline within the 1 years, is you face extraordinary circumstances that prevented you from applying, or that there have been changes in circumstances that have now led you to apply now. So that it can get difficult, but I would say don't count yourself out until you talk to an attorney. For example, say in the 1 year deadline, you faced a death, then or sickness. That could be an example of extraordinary circumstances that prevented you from meeting the deadline. Can my husband file adjustment of status after I filed for VAWA? So, yes, it's a possibility. I mean, if you're still married, now if you file for VAWA and you've remarried, that disqualifies you from VAWA. But if you're talking about the same spouse that mistreated you, it's possible. Is it a good idea? You're gonna have to get legal advice, because we need to understand whether what you've submitted will conflict with this potential application that you're going to submit with a spouse. Another issue here is that you may have to disclose on the paperwork that you filed for VAWA, and that can take away some of the protections that you have in terms of confidentiality from that spouse. So, for example, if that spouse now found out you applied for VAWA, they can get vindictive and they can now do some harm while you're going through the marriage based adjustment of status. It's just not a good idea. Like, for example, if I filed your VAWA, I'm just giving an example. I'm not your attorney. But if I filed for VAWA, and then now you're going and saying you want the same spouse to apply for adjustment of status for you, I would have to withdraw because it would be too much of a conflict. So I couldn't even advise you any further. I would just have to withdraw because there's a big conflict there. All right, I'm going through on Instagram. Bear with me on TikTok. Bear with me on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. Please bear with me. I'm going through each one. Hi there, Lindy. It's nice to see you. When you're doing VAWA and you do biometrics, how long does it take for you to get the work permit? So it's usually 9 months to 12 months after you filed the VAWA. Very informative. Thank you. You're welcome. If your spouse is filing in the process and is waiting for the interview date and you file for citizenship, can it slow down the filing process? So I'm not sure if if you are a resident already and you file for citizenship, then it may very well speed it up. That can sometimes be a way to kind of jolt them into moving things forward. Now, if your spouse applied for citizenship and gets a citizenship, it can actually speed the process up. So I don't know in what context you're talking, but I just gave you the answer for either context. Can you cancel asylum and marry for the green card? I mean, that's a possibility, but I would have to understand, is that advisable? Now, another thing, by the way, is, when people file for asylum, you put false information in the asylum, which is illegal. It gets you into a lot of problems. And then guess what? The real, genuine way for you to get the green card comes along after you've done that, and it screws up everything. So, this is another reason why you should not listen to anybody that says, go ahead and apply for asylum. What does qualifying for deferred action and T visa mean? So deferred action is different from the T. Deferred action is permission to be here, usually for about 2 years. You get the work permit while you're here for 2 years. T visa leads to a permanent residence and citizenship, and it gives you a status. What does it mean? It means you've probably either for deferred action, you've been the victim of employment violations. And for the T visa, you've actually been mistreated by an employer or by an individual to the point where you qualify as a victim of trafficking. So if you've ever been mistreated by anybody in this country, doesn't matter if that person is a citizen or not, get legal advice because it has changed your life. I just got another T visa approval, by the way, last night. So late last night, got another T visa. My client's life, along with her children who are in Jamaica, is gonna change now. And the reason she thought she didn't have any options, she called me, told me about an instance where she was mistreated by an employer. Now she's going to have her T status. So just get legal advice. Another example why you need to talk to a lawyer. Now, deferred action, usually with employment violations only, but the T status, it is the mistreatment. What happened was so severe that it does rise to the level of trafficking victim. USCIS requests more evidence after marriage and medical and transfer my case to the local field office. What's next? So that's pretty routine. Probably the interview or the green card. Thank you so much, child of God, Mackie. Thank you, and thank you, Candy Apple Fusion. I'm very excited, and it even makes me a little emotional because we're getting more and more and more of these, and we're changing our clients' lives, clients that really had no hope. So we're happy about that. And what I would say here is, if you've experienced mistreatment in any way by an intimate partner, relatives, employer, I can talk to you to do an evaluation to see if this qualifies you for this kind of status. I haven't done a medical as yet and got a letter to do my biometrics. What is next after biometrics? My case is marriage based. So then you probably will get your work permit and travel document if you applied for that, and then maybe the green card or the interview to get the green card. All right, I'm gonna go to YouTube. Can I use a 245 I filed in 1985 for my dad? So section 245I is, if you're, no, it depends. If you were going to be the derivative of your dad, then you could very well qualify. Let's schedule the appointment. Let's talk about it. I got my work permit through VAWA. How long for the green card? So you get the work permit at around the 9-month mark. And then it takes about another 2 years to get the green card. But the work permit is 5-year work permit. So you have some reassurance while you wait for the process. My spouse had me, I have I-130 petition, but petitioner passed before its approval. So unfortunately, when that happens, it means that the petition is no longer going to be processed. My spouse had me searching for, and I'm so sorry that the petitioner passed and that you're going through that. So my condolences. My spouse had me searching for a house close to his job. Every house I find, he has something to say. When we argue, he upload all documents to my phone to adjust. So it sounds like there's some mistreatment going on. So this is where we need to talk in a private consultation. So let's talk and figure out what's going on. What the timeline looking like for receiving work permit via marriage green card? I filed in July and submitted the medical in September and have already done the biometrics. So 3 to 6 months if this is a marriage-based process. So I'm on TikTok now, and I'm gonna go scroll through the questions here. So let's see here. I got my combo card 5 months ago, but my I-130 and for marriage is still pending 15 months now in Atlanta. So unfortunately, sometimes you do have delays, and I see that very often when it's a do-it-yourself process or something is missing or they have some doubts about something and they're doing extra checks. So this is where it's very important to get legal advice. How can you visit your home country after you become a citizen through asylum? It depends. What are the conditions in your country? Has the circumstances changed now where whatever was causing you to file for asylum is now done with? If so, then it's possible to travel. Hi there, Stefan. So on Instagram, just let me know. I had another glitch. Let me know if you can hear me. If not, I'll have to go back in. Just somebody say no sound, and I'll go back in. Come out and go back in. I'm so sorry. All right. Removal proceeding case, person got deported and petition denied. Okay, sound issues. Let me just go back in so everybody can hear. All right, removal proceeding case, person got deported and petition denied at Supreme Court. Anything else? So usually when it's gotten to the Supreme Court, that's usually the end point unless something else changes. But you can I wouldn't be able to tell unless you do a consultation, but it would be to look for any other options. Miriam, thanks for all you do. Thanks so much for that. I appreciate that. How long does it take for I-131 to be approved? So about 3 to 6 months too. Can I get married before my 90 days run up? So that, there are some risk associated with that. So there have been back and forth on policies regarding, hi there on Instagram. Thanks so much. I'm having technical difficulties and I'm going to work to avoid that in the future. But I'm answering questions here on TikTok. If you have any further questions, I'll try to jump back when I'm finished with TikTok. If I file for asylum, can I cancel and marry my green card? So you need legal advice. USCIS sent more evidence after my marriage and my medical case at local office. What's next? Probably the interview or the green card. I filed VAWA after my husband died. Will it work? Yes. Will you get approved? I don't know. But you can apply for VAWA as long as you've applied for VAWA within 2 years of the spouse's death. If it's after that, then you will be denied. Good afternoon. How do I go about doing asylum application, but the due date is past? Well, you'll have to show extraordinary circumstances prevented you, or you had a change in circumstances that now allowed you to apply. Thanks so much for the compliment. Can I get married before 90 days visa is up? You need legal advice to see if this is advisable. It's possible, but is it advisable? What are the risks? Because there are some risks. There's what's called a 90-day rule. And the 90-day rule says that if any body gets married, works, or files papers within the 90 days of their arrival, they're going to assume that that this is fraud, because when you come into the country, you're supposed to present that you do not that you will not stay permanently, and those indicate that you have immigrant intent. Now they have changed the policies on this, so it's not during the Trump administration. This was up the policy. However, since Biden, we've seen changes in policies, but we still want to understand the risk here. There's not that there's no risk, and we have to look at whether you can show evidence that you didn't have that intent, because an officer can still bring this up as a problem. So that's where you have to get legal advice and representation. What do you get first after submitting a VAWA case? Receipt notice. Can you cancel asylum and marry for the green card? I answered that. Get legal advice. Hello, can I travel with combo card in marriage-based case? Usually. Can you do it? It depends. Talk to your attorney. But what I would say is it's usually okay to travel on the travel document, combo card with the travel document on it. So I answered that. What if you got 130 approved before you turn 21, family-based green card, citizen parent? Then it means that you can move forward with your process. So as long as a citizen parent applied for you, they were a citizen at the time they applied, and they applied for you when you are under 21, it freezes your age for immigration purposes. So you can move forward with the adjustment of status if you're here in the US. Can you cancel? Okay, I answered that. All right. How long does a U visa take? 5 to 7 years, maybe 2.5 years to get deferred action. What if you got the I-130 approved before you turn 21? Now 25 based on green card. Based on green card citizen parent. If it's a green card parent, then this is a problem. Get legal advice. But if your citizen parent applied, then you should be okay. How long does it take? Can I get married? So I answered that. So it seems like there are a lot of repeat questions here. Can I just buy marriage to a citizen if I work for cash as an F1 student? So working without a permit with a citizen spouse will not get you denied for the green card. All right, I saw a few more questions here on Instagram. I'll answer this before I head out. Is there a way to get work permit without leaving the US? Yes, this is exactly what I do every day for my clients, but do you qualify? This is where we need to do the consultation. Is there any requirement to apply for the green card through T visa? Yes, yes, the T visa leads to the green card for sure. It's a direct path to the green card. So jump on it. Give me a call, schedule an appointment. Let's talk. As a J1 student out of 1 year now after marriage, what are the requirements for USCIS? So if it sounds like you had the 2 year foreign residency requirement, so another year, and you'll be able to file those papers. All right. Thanks so much, everyone, for your time. Thanks for bearing with me on Instagram. And thanks, everyone, on YouTube, on TikTok. Thanks. Now, I'll be back tomorrow. So go ahead and ask your questions. Save up your questions for tomorrow. I'll come with a topic. You come with your questions, and we'll talk through it. All right. Have a great one, everyone. Bye bye.